All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with a band that is new to me, and I think I've seen the name quite a few times before. One of the things I like to do is I try to follow as many local bands and artists as I can, and I end up just clicking follow on a ton of them, and then I start seeing these things show up in my social media feeds, and I always forget, who is this band? Who was I following? And you guys have come up a lot, and I think it's because, as we'll talk about, you have an EP coming up in the relatively near future, and I'm sure I'm seeing posts about your show, your release show, and the new music and everything like that. But before we get into any of that, I think the best way to start this off is if the four of you want to introduce yourselves and what you play in the band so listeners can put a name to the voice, and then just give a bit of background about what you guys do as a group. So whoever wants to start, I'll just throw it out there, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
All right, I'll kick it off. I'm Dave McDougall. I do lead vocals and guitar in the band.
I'm Brian Settee, aka Yeti. I'm the hip hop vocalist, and I do a little bit of samples and stuff and scratching and stuff like that as well.
Some synths.
I'm Darren, the Norseman, and I play the bass.
Cool.
I'm
He
Alex.
also plays the beard. He plays the beard. He's too modest.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I'm Alex, and I play drums.
Cool. And is this the whole band, or are we missing anyone?
No, this is the whole band.
This is the whole band. Okay, so
Yeah.
What is the background here? I mean, like we've kind of already established, I guess, you have the hip hop element to what you do. One member obviously specifically handling all of those duties, but you're also playing. Upon listening to what I've heard online, I would say it's kind of this like alt rock vibe with hip hop mixed in. I'm sure you have a better way of describing it than I just did, but what's sort of the origin of this group and where you're coming from musically?
You kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, yeah, alt rock with some hip hop. I mean, we don't try and corner ourselves into a genre per se, but I mean, me and Alex, the drummer, we were in a band together before Pure Entry formed, and me and Yeti go way back to high school days, and he has his own rap project, and I've always loved the shit that he puts out. And I guess me and Alex were just trying to make some different music together. And we figured, actually, it kind of started with not having a bass player. So before Darren joined, I knew Brian did the hip hop thing and made his own beats. So I'm like, maybe he could kind of put some low end for us. And we could go a different route instead of finding some bass. But then he started rapping a lot more in the songs we were working on, and we figured, you know what, let's let him do this, and we'll get a bass player, and he can put in some samples and some synth with his equipment that he has in the background, and see what comes up, see what happens.
Cool. So what I think it's interesting to see, especially when you have someone with a sampler playing with a rock band. I mean, obviously it's happened many times before in the past in many different sort of genres and subgenres and styles, but it's not something that I think a lot of people have seen in a while. I think there was a period going back maybe 20 something years where every band had a DJ or an MC, or they had someone with a sampler, and that was just sort of par for the course. But that's been not sort of popular, I guess, for a while. Do people get the misunderstanding that you're a new metal band when they see the setup? Like, is that does that ever come up?
I don't know. I couldn't say. I mean, we haven't really been around for too long. I haven't heard anyone really talk about us. We've definitely kicked around, the term new metal here and there, but not really describing ourselves, I don't think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about that.
I think we get just like compared to some of the bands you're describing quite often when people hear us.
Yeah.
And but I do like how we do try to bounce a little bit all over the place, and we're trying to find that range that really fits with us, right?
Yeah, I think it was just like when that new metal rap came out or whatever, it was like it was a thing. But I think this is kind of taking it like a step to the left or to the right or whatever. It's not metal. It's more like it's like classic, like I don't know how you describe it, man. Like again, like Dave said, you wouldn't want to pigeonhole us, but at the same time, it's like it's groove rock rap, like
Well,
it's its
and
own thing.
I guess there's a certain type of rock music too that works well with hip hop, right? I mean, you described it as groove rock. You have to have that groove to it for the two genres to mesh well. Because if you're playing something that's just like super, hipster indie rock, it's not necessarily going to have the right low end or the right beats or the right for rap vocals to work well over it. So I think that maybe that's what the connection is between um, the new metal stuff and hip hop and metal and just sort of alt rock, because they all have that sort of group to them that sort of drives the song forward.
Yeah, that's fair for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I know I had in mind when we started this project up. I wanted to, do something a little upbeat, groovy, but still kind of heavy at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I don't want to dwell on the genre thing too much, because it sucks, right? I mean, it's so hard to define what you do,
Yeah.
especially now when everything is a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre. But I guess, like, I mean, I know it's a relatively new project, but does the kind of nebulousness of what you do, does it make it hard to sort of place yourselves within the local music scene? Because I mean, there's obviously a thriving local rap scene, and you have that element, but you're not a rap group. And there's a rock scene, there's a metal scene, there's all of these other interconnected scenes, but most of them don't have hip hop elements to them as well. So is it hard to sort of find like where you fit within the local community?
Um, yes
No,
and no. I mean, we've played with an array of different genres already, and we have played a rap show
Okay.
where it was all rap and then us. And we've played with metal, we've played with punk. I don't think this city has a pretty good music scene with a lot of good people, and I think everyone loves to hear some different shit and just play with, I don't know, play with good people and play some good music. I don't think it matters too much on the genre. That's my perspective anyway.
Well, I think that's the
Mhm.
ideal situation, right? Where the
Yeah.
genre doesn't matter, but for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Was Oh, I thought someone was about to say something. What I was going to ask is, I mean, you have this EP coming out, and this is your debut EP, right?
Yeah.
So, again with the genre thing, I'm not trying to stick on this, because I'm sure
No,
that
no, no.
but
No worries.
I guess, like, who is this record for? Who are you trying to appeal to with this band? Because I mean, like you said, you're covering multiple styles of music, and the good thing about Winnipeg is people tend to be fairly fluid in what they appreciate and what they listen to. But do you have an idea of sort of who the ideal audience member is for this? Or
Ourselves, 100%, we made this for ourselves. I mean,
and
I'm
that's
sure you get that answer all the time, but honestly, I mean, we're all in our 30s. Darren's in his 40s. We're just looking to make some fun music that we like to listen to, and that hopefully other people will enjoy too. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys have a target audience?
I mean, I
I
think the way we put them in. Sorry,
no,
but I think we're putting in kind of elements of everything that we like, and then we're targeting the people that also like those things, right?
sure.
Like it's kind of we're targeting the people like us. You know what I mean?
I'd like to think when I approach the hip hop side of the band is I'm trying to bridge the gap. I think Winnipeg's a really heavy alternative or just rock and roll town in general, even though there is a lot of great hip hop in this
There
town.
is, yeah.
But I just think it leans heavy to the hard rock, the metal, the punk, and I think I'm just bridging that gap that people who are curious about the hip hop and who enjoy hip hop but don't necessarily listen to it on a regular basis. I'm trying to bridge that gap and get people, oh yeah, I like this, right? Maybe I'll like some more of this other hip hop.
You're sort of sneaking them in easily by having it mixed with something they already like.
Yeah, 100%. Before Pure Entry, Dave said I was doing a lot of hip hop under the name BS Raps.
Okay.
Um, and but like before Pure Entry, I wasn't getting a lot of show opportunities. But it's just hard to book shows as a hip hop act unless you're unless organizing the whole show by yourself basically and promoting it all on your own, right?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. What's the with this EP? I mean, how long has it been in the works? I guess that, and then an additional question to that is, how long has the band actually been a band? Because we're at a time now where hopefully the pandemic is behind us, and shows are going to continue happening, and all of that, those issues that sort of affected everyone everywhere in recent years are done with. But is this a band that came sort of out of that time, or is it a band that existed during that kind of awkward time frame where no one could rehearse or record or even play shows?
It definitely came together after COVID. Honestly, we've only been a full band like with our lineup today since last December.
Okay,
I think
okay.
that's when Darren joined. Before that, it had been me and Alex and Brian a couple of months before that. But just writing what we could and trying to find a sound and whatnot.
So all these songs are fairly new then in general. Just their whole existence is fairly recent.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of Brian's hip hop songs that we kind of adopted. So those are some older songs. They aren't on the EP, but an LP down the line somewhere.
Cool, cool. Do you is there sort of when it comes to figuring out how much of the hip hop elements are going to be in the songs, is that how do you determine that? I mean, how do you determine which song, where a rap verse would fit in well with the song, or because in listening to some of your stuff that's out already, a lot of the time the hip hop elements kind of almost surprise you if you're not watching the music video and you don't see him standing there with a mic. You don't realize there's another vocalist, right? And you're listening to it, and it's all of a sudden, oh shit, there's a rap verse happening here. Do you have sort of is there a planning process to determine sort of where that fits, because it is a unique element in what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of a figuring out process there. I mean, there's two songs on the EP that are not released that have full hip hop verses, are a little more rap heavy, right? And like I said, we do play some songs of Brian's from his prior project. So we do have some more rap heavy songs out there for sure. When we're writing, I mean, Brian, what do you think when we're sitting down?
I think we usually start with like a bass line, drums, guitar, and then the vocals usually depend on the feel of the song. You know, I think the
Organic.
verses, we usually work on the verses first, and then, or sorry, the hooks first, and then we try to see where the verses, where it just what makes sense for the verses, right?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
there?
and I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
there's some songs that don't have any rap. There are a few that he's more heavy on the synths and the samples and whatnot. Um, and then it's hard to say when we're all putting things together. It's does this song feel like it should have some hip hop in it? I mean, they all kind of do, but which ones? We also don't want to make it the same structure, right? I have like verse,
Of
chorus,
course,
rap, verse, chorus. We have a few like that, and it's like, hey, we gotta maybe have a rap chorus or have a rap intro or outro. Try and put it somewhere else so it's not the same formula every time.
for sure. How do these songs? This is something I like asking people because I think I get a lot of different answers. But with these songs you have recorded, so the EP is coming out the day after this podcast airs, which is great. But how do the songs translate to a live setting? I mean, can you play them sort of exactly as they are on the record, or are they altered in any way when you're performing them live? I guess maybe how much layering is on the record as far as instruments or any additional elements that aren't part of the live show.
There is one song. It was our last single, "These Pills," where there's a little background lead lick in the chorus.
Okay.
That just due to the fact that I'm the only guitar player, we don't have a second guitar. There's the absence of that. Other than that, everything we do, we replicate live.
Yeah, the synths and the samples, I try to, when I add them to a track, I try to keep in mind I want to be able to perform them live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got his full setup live, his tables, his beat machine, and everything on a little table.
Little me too. Yeah, my little table.
No, it's actually pretty big now. Didn't we upgrade your table?
Yeah, it's pretty big now. It started small. It's big now. Yeah.
Is it one of those things that's going to keep growing? Like, by next year, you're going to have a couple tables?
Oh, absolutely.
I sure as hell hope so.
Hopefully, yeah, for sure.
We got to get one of those long social tables for you, and then afterwards we can play beer pong with it.
Yeah, and you can eat social food on the table while
Exactly.
you're. Yeah. There you
cold
go.
cuts and some pickles.
Right. So, what are the details of the release show? Because that's coming up soon, and that's obviously something you guys are promoting pretty hard.
Yeah, it's Northern Royals headlining, Matt Corey opening. It's our EP release show. I think it's a stacked bill. Matt Corey just cleaned house at the Manitoba Loud Music Awards.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And he's just an absolutely phenomenal artist to play with. And I'm blown away every time I see the Northern Royals. So I'm super stoked for this show. I got the jitters for this show, but
plus it's at the Top House. We love the Top House. We got to give all of our love to the Top House, man.
yes, Top House.
Their sound guy is amazing, and we love the atmosphere. We love it.
Yeah,
That's
they've
a great
been great
place.
every time. Love it.
Cool. And like we mentioned before, I mean, I keep going back to the genre thing, and the only reason I'm doing it now is because I've interviewed both with other bands. I've had Matt Corey on, I've had Northern Royals on a couple times, and both of them are very, very definitely within the rock arena. I mean, those are straight up rock artists, right? So this is that vibe for this show is going to be a lot more on the heavy side than necessarily the hip hop side, as far as just the overall bill is concerned.
Yeah, I mean it's a rock show for sure, but I mean we played with Matt Corey before.
Yeah.
We haven't played with Northern Royals, but I think Evan, their singer, he's come out to one of our shows before. He was saying that he really likes the hip hop aspect. So, I mean, we're all gonna rock out there and have a good time.
Cool.
Yeti's, if this makes sense at all, I've said this to Yeti since I started hearing his rap. If any rapper out there was ever made to be in a rock band, it's Brian. He has such a rock influenced style to his rap that it just works well. So it's kind of a shoe-in.
Cool.
I agree. I jumped head first into this band. Like I just knew I've always wanted to do something exactly like this. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man.
Do you have to use like a different part of your brain to write for a rock group than you would be writing for your straight hip hop stuff? Like, is it a different approach you take?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. It's been a little bit of a challenge adjusting, but really it's just tempo. These guys tend to go fast, and so I like to rap. So I rap fast. Man, they got me struggling for breath on a few tracks we were performing live. One of the songs we do, it's called Cantaloupe. Oh my god, every time they got me gasping for air because it's like 2 verses of straight rap. I think we're doing it at the show, and oh man, I can't wait for the crowd to hear this one.
Right on. Cool. So, I mean, hopefully people are listening to this before the show happens, but the good thing about it being a podcast, they can hear it the day it comes out, or they could hear it a year from now. And by then, who knows? You could have a lot more music out, more shows, things like that. What's the best way to sort of keep up with what the band's up to and find out about upcoming shows, upcoming releases, and that kind of stuff?
Alex, I'll let you take this one, man. You're too quiet over there. How do people get in touch with us?
You can check us out on our Facebook or Instagram. We're also on YouTube. We're on all of the streaming platforms. Trying to post at least 2-3 times a week, kind of make more content for everybody.
Awesome. And then once the EP comes out, is it a digital release, or are you doing physical copies as well?
Both. Digital and physical. We actually right here. There's
Awesome.
The
Awesome.
physical copy.
Glad to hear
too
it.
reflective.
Yeah, it's just shiny. But no, there's still nerds out there like me who only listen to physical stuff. So I'm always happy to see that bands are still doing it. I know a lot of people are tempted to not do it, and some just go digital only. But it's always nice to see people sticking to CDs because there's an audience for them still.
Yeah, I still think people like to have something to hold in their hand. There's some artwork on it and stuff. I keep hearing about vinyl, people making records, so that may be something to look for in the future.
Yeah.
Cassettes.
Yeah, tapes are still a thing. It's great. Yeah, it's awesome. I never stopped listening to those either, so I'm happy whenever a band's putting cassettes. It's awesome. Yeah, right on. So, okay, one last time, you want to plug the show before I let you go?
For sure. So January 20th at the Tap House with Matt Corey, Northern Royals. We still have some tickets left here. You can get them by getting in touch with any of the band members. Obviously, Matt Corey and Northern Royals have copies as well. Get a hold of us on Facebook, Instagram. Just sending us an instant message. We'll drive some tickets out to you. If not, I mean, there will be tickets at the door as well. They're just a little pricier, but we hope to see everyone out there. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. We can't wait.
Awesome.